I'm going to dive into this without being prepared. There's a great fear of the nature of women. Many women, it could seem as though it's all women, have a deep, dark desire for demonic men. I'm just the messenger. There's a deep, dark desire to be abused. This is coming from personal observation, all right? Now, why is it that many men who are good men, good, upright, upstanding, caring, loving men, many men who get married or have a long-term relationship with a woman are absolutely horrified to find out one day that their woman has been cheating on them. Sometimes for a long time. Sometimes for years on end. And if I'm being honest, this has been an absolute terror for me to think about, to comprehend. Because it's actually happened to me in the past. Back when I was a blue pill Christian, many years ago, I was with a girl who slept with another man and actually got married to him. Somehow, go figure how that works. She was in a different country. And it really horrified me. Now, I say luckily because in a certain sense, I wasn't really devoted to her. I wasn't really meant to be in that relationship in the first place, all right? I wasn't truly in love with her. It was a lot of just purely lust-based stuff going on between me and her. But I was still fucking horrified to find out that I'd been played, I'd been cheated on. And in recent times, you know, I've told my story about how I was with this woman. We had an open relationship agreement. I guess because part of me knew that I wanted to act out my lust. Part of me knew that I wasn't going to be satisfied with one woman. I still had a lot of playing around to do, but I wanted to be upfront about that at least. I didn't want to do it behind her back, like a lot of these red pill guys tell you. Yeah, bro, you just gotta embrace your male nature and go and fuck behind her back, and if she finds out, just say sorry and move on. Just don't tell her about it, because she can't handle it. To me, that's some seriously simp behavior, bro, and it's creating a lot of negative karma. So if you're gonna be like that, just be prepared to have your entire world shattered when you find out that she's been riding 10 other dudes behind your back. So I was upfront about it. We started the relationship off like that. Well, almost. I told her that about a month in, I guess. And after a while, I fell in love with her. I fell deeply in love with her. We were having tantric sex. I wasn't releasing. I released a few times because she asked me, you know, as women do, they want that. It's unusual for a man to withhold that. And so I released a few times. And what I noticed was, as soon as I started releasing, my entire gym progress fell off the rails. I had gained 30 kilograms, mostly muscle, in 3 months. That's something like 65, maybe more, maybe closer to 70 pounds. Mostly muscle in 12 weeks. Because I was practicing SR and I was on a mission. I was hitting the gym like a fucking crazy person. I was eating like a crazy person. And I was gaining like a Viking warrior. Then I released and I got sick and I was bedridden for a week. I've told this story before. And so everything started going downhill from that point. pretty soon we went and did a trip together, and I was still releasing, and she was at the peak of her ovulation. The attraction levels were insane. I'd gone pure carnivore, so I was eating raw red meat and raw eggs every day. My test levels were just like shooting through the ceiling. And my libido was just off the charts. So we were making love for hours a day. I just started releasing. I thought it was okay because it seemed like I had so much masculine energy from going carnivore. I thought, it'll be fine. No big deal. Then I found out she was pregnant. Less than a month later. And when I found out she was pregnant and I saw her switch in terms of her behavior, I saw her withdraw from me quite dramatically. We went from having these insane levels of chemistry and polarity to her really not even wanting me to touch her. And that seriously fucked with my mind and my soul, actually, if I'm being honest. I thought I had just gone and made the stupidest mistake. All the confirmation bias started kicking in, all the red pill teaching like, oh bro, you are an idiot. You just went and gave her the thing that she wants, and now she has no interest in you. And so I was going through some serious hell. And then I had a friend who was telling me all these stories about, his mates who had been baby trapped, gotten a woman pregnant, and years down the track, they were still paying for it. All their finances being sucked away. And then there was even stories of guys who had devoted themselves fully to the family, waking up at 5 a.m., going to work, coming home late every day for years and years, making all the family meals, just slaving for the family. Only to find out that behind his back, his woman had been riding cowgirl on some alpha for years, right? This story is all too common. And I was shit scared. So I was contemplating abortion. It's horrifying for me to say that, but I was. I was contemplating just breaking up with her and, being a distant parent, co-parenting, all that stuff. It was the toughest part of my life, bro. She ended up breaking up with me because I cheated on her out of a sense of fear and insecurity. And from then on, I started to realize something. I started to realize that this narrative of women wanting toxic men, women being secretly addicted to being abused, dominated, all the stuff we hear about, all the stuff that we may have practiced. Choking and slapping and scratching and just being very nasty and very domineering. And the fact that women love it. Women love this stuff. And so I thought, oh shit, where does that leave me? Do I need to become a full demon? Do I need to just be a horrible person in order to keep her interested in me? Because everything from my past seems to suggest that. Or do I become a good guy? Do I become a good, loving, strong man who takes care of my family and finds out years into our marriage that she's been sleeping with multiple other men behind my back? This was the dilemma. This was the dilemma I found myself in, and I know millions of men are out there right now, maybe you, watching this, in that dilemma. You're afraid to commit because you know what women are like. You know how nasty they can be. You know how dark women can be. And so for a long time I was confused, stuck in this dilemma. But then I started to realize the truth. The truth is, it's not about choosing a side. I don't know if you've ever heard this before, but this is what you need to hear. It's not about, oh, do I be demonic or do I be good? Is it the light side or the dark side? It's not about choosing a side, bro. This is the thing. It's about integrating the light and the dark. Because she is never going to stay with the demonic man. Yeah, she's going to have sex with him. She's going to do the most horrific sexual things with him. She's going to let him do whatever he wants to her. However, she is not going to have a family with that guy. Because she doesn't trust him. She doesn't trust him at all. That's part of the thrill for her. But that demonic man who's living purely in debauchery is never going to experience the joy of raising children. He is stuck to that archetype for the rest of his life. He is actually autistically stuck in the role of being the player, being the slayer, being the bad boy. He is handicapped to that position. And as much fun as he has fucking all these women, his soul is rotting. If you don't believe me, just ask someone who is living this sort of lifestyle. Have a real conversation with them. Sit down and ask them closely. Are you really happy, bro? Are you really happy slaying all these women? Do you really love women? Ask them that. Do you actually love women? Or do you just like taking from them? And he's going to tell you. He just loves taking. He can't love women. He can't trust women because he knows their dark side. So I feel sorry for that guy because I've been that guy. And it's hell. It's actually hell feeling like you can't trust a woman because you know too much. It's hell feeling like you'll never have a family. You'll always be this fucking MGTOW just roaming around the streets, roaming around the world, exploring the world, you know, being a digital nomad, living that free life, but never settling, never finding a place to call home. You will never have that as long as you're stuck in that rigid role, as long as you're stuck in that red pill paradigm of reality. Sure, your life might be like a porn show, a porn movie. You might be like the lead actor in a porn movie. That's your life. But at the end of the day, when you go home and you're by yourself and you're fucking depleted and you actually hate women, you actually despise them, tell me you're happy. So that's not the solution, bro. Neither is the solution to be a naive good guy, a naive nice guy who just appeases women, who just has his little wife and his little house and his little home and just be a little simp slave to his woman, doing whatever she wants, you know, pleasing her, letting her be in charge, even being under the illusion that he's in charge, you know, paying for everything, just being a good man, never being intense, never stepping up into true power and dominating her. You see, she doesn't simply want a demonic man. She doesn't just want a dark man, an evil man. What she wants from the evil man is his intensity. That's what she wants. She wants to feel like she is in the fucking heart of a volcano, getting blown to pieces by her man. That's what she misses with the good guy, the nice guy, because he's never unlocked that inner intensity. It's not because she wants to be used and abused, strictly speaking. Yes, she wants to be dominated. But she doesn't, strictly speaking, want to be abused. That's what you got to realize. She wants one of the key ingredients that she's getting from that abuse, which is the intensity. She wants the ferocity. She wants the killer, the warrior. That's what she wants. That's what you have to bring out of yourself because it's in there. You have a killer inside you. You have a monster inside of you. And suppressing it and pretending it isn't there does you no good. It just gets you wound up being cheated on by someone who is expressing those traits, even if he is a toxic motherfucker. You have to bring out the beast, bro. The beast! The beast is ferocious. I always love the story Narnia, right? Where Lucy Pevensey is asking the beaver, Mr. Beaver, is asking Mr. Beaver about Aslan. Aslan is the lion. Aslan is the metaphor for God, the creator, embodied in flesh, the Christ principle. Aslan created Narnia, and he pulled Lucy and her brothers and sisters into Narnia to redeem it, to be the heirs of his kingdom, to grant them the authority that he has so they could rule and reign as him, as his arms and legs, as his hands and feet in Narnia, which is what we're called to do here. Right? And Lucy doesn't know Aslan when she first gets to Narnia. She's heard all the stories, she knows he's the creator, blah, 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 blah. But she says to Mr. Beaver, is he safe? Is Aslan safe? And Mr. Beaver says, well, of course he ain't safe, but he is good. That's the key, bro. You're not meant to be safe. Jesus was flipping tables, walking around telling people that he was the Son of God, counter to all of the Mosaic law, counter to thousands of years of tradition. He was basically spitting in the face of the religious teachers. That's very unsafe behavior. He was whipping people in the streets, chasing people around the streets, chasing people around the temple, whipping them. Tell me that's safe, bro. Tell me that's what a nice guy does. Tell me that's what your archetype of a good man does. Fuck no, it's not. Because a good man is a rigid role, it's a rigid identity that you've created in your mind based on social conditioning. In just the same way that a bad man is. You've got an idea of what it means to be bad, and you think that's what the women want. They don't want bad. They want the kernel contained in that behavior, in the behavior of a man who is free to do as he wishes, as he chooses. And you can do that consciously. You can be free to do as you choose consciously, not from a rigid identity which someone else has given you. You can do it from a place of truth. You can freely choose to follow the flow of the Spirit, where the Spirit is leading you. And sometimes that's going to cause you to do some very intense shit. Chase people around the street with whips. Call out government leaders, political leaders, religious leaders. Just call them out to their face. The kind of shit that gets you killed. Read minds. Just go up to someone and just read their whole mind. And just be like, this is what your life has been so far, but this is what it's about to change into. That's what Christ did. He cut through the bullshit. He said, I did not come to bring peace. I came to bring a sword. The sword of truth. The sword is the word of God. It divides cleanly the line between spirit and soul, ego and truth. That's what the sword does. Christ said, I came to bring a sword. Power, intensity, raw masculinity. That's what women are seeking. They're not just seeking the evil, the dark, the toxic for its own sake. They're seeking the power, which they haven't been getting from these rigid archetypes of a good man, because they've been getting bored with that shit, because it's lifeless. It's not allowing spirit to flow through like I am doing right now. That's what women want, bro. So chuck away all this ideology, all this red pill shit. Chuck away all your ideology about what it means to be a good, upstanding man. And start to tap into your spirit. Because I am the inner Christ. That's where the answers are. That's where the truth is. That's what it means to truly be alive. And that shit is more attractive than anything. Much love.